Hello, and a very warm welcome to Listen and Speak English Stories podcast. We are so glad you've chosen to join us. In today's episode, we have a special lesson designed for B1 level English learners, meaning the language will be clear and at a comfortable pace. We are going to explore a powerful idea: why taking risks is so important for a happy life. Our goal is to help you build your English confidence while sharing inspiring ideas. I am truly happy you are here with us. This podcast was created with you in mind. It is for every English learner who is dedicated to improving their skills step by step. We know learning can be challenging, but you are not alone. Here, we believe in the power of stories. Why? Because stories are one of the most effective and enjoyable ways to learn a language. When you listen to a story, you learn new words and grammar in a natural context. The characters and events make the language memorable. It feels like an adventure. And today's topic is something we all face: taking risks. Think about it. Even learning English is a type of risk. You risk making mistakes to communicate and grow. We will explore what it means to step out of your comfort zone. The idea of taking a risk can feel a little scary, and that's completely normal. So as we begin, I want you to relax. Take a deep breath. Please do not worry about understanding every single word. That is not the goal. Instead, focus on the main idea, the general message of the story. This is called listening for the gist, and it's a very important skill. So get comfortable, open your ears to the sounds of English, and open your mind to new possibilities. Let's begin this exciting journey together. In today's lesson, you will hear a motivational story about a character who faces a big decision. As you listen, pay attention not just to the words, but to the feelings in the story. Try to connect with the character's journey, their hopes, and their fears. Let the story speak to you. This is the story of a young man named Leo. Leo worked in a large office in a big city, but his days felt gray and repetitive. Every day was the same: the crowded train, the bland coffee, the endless spreadsheets. He felt disconnected, like a small part in a giant impersonal machine. His dream was to open his own small cafe. This wasn't just about coffee. It was about creating a warm, welcoming space for people to connect. He loved the rich smell of roasted beans and the comforting sound of the espresso machine. It was the opposite of his sterile office life, a world full of passion and community. During his lunch breaks, he began his secret education. He walked to small cafes across the city, becoming a quiet observer. He watched the owners, the music, and the menu design, studying how they worked. He filled notebooks with ideas, building a blueprint for his dream, one observation at a time. He bought books about coffee and practiced at home. His small kitchen became a laboratory. His first attempts at latte art were messy, but he practiced every evening. Slowly his skills improved, and his determination grew with every cup he brewed. But Leo was afraid. The more he planned, the bigger the fear became. His office job was secure and predictable. It paid the bills and offered a safe future. Opening a cafe was a huge risk. He would have to invest all his savings with no guarantee of success. He talked to his friends, but their advice was divided. Some said, "That is a huge risk. You have a good career." Others said, "You are so passionate about this, you should take a chance." Torn between caution and encouragement, he felt more confused than ever. One evening he passed a small empty shop with a "For Rent" sign. As he peered through the dusty window, he didn't see an empty space. He could see his cafe there, full of light and people. His heart beat faster. This was a real opportunity, not just a dream in a notebook. That night he could not sleep. He imagined himself in 10 years, still at the same desk, always wondering, what if? The thought was unbearable. He realized the fear of regret was stronger than the fear of failure. He knew he had to try, no matter the outcome. Finally, he made a decision. He decided to face his fear and choose his dream. The next day, he handed in his resignation. With a mix of terror and excitement, he used his savings to rent the small shop. Holding the keys felt like holding his future. The next months were a whirlwind, cleaning the dusty space, painting the walls a warm color, and decorating it himself. He also had to learn about business licenses, taxes, and finding good suppliers. It was exhausting, but every completed task brought him closer to his goal. He made mistakes. He ordered the wrong cups, and a plumber he hired did a bad job. Each problem was stressful, but each mistake was a lesson. He learned to be more careful, to ask for help, and to be resilient when things went wrong. The day before the grand opening, Leo stood alone in his Finnish cafe. The lights were warm, the bookshelves were full. It looked exactly as he had pictured it, but in the quiet the fear returned. What if no one comes? What if I fail? He felt a knot of anxiety. On opening morning his hands shook as he unlocked the door. He flipped the sign to open and waited. For the first hour no one came. His heart sank. Then the bell rang. An elderly woman entered and said, "It smells wonderful in here." He nervously made her a cappuccino. She took a sip and said, "This is the best cappuccino I have had in years." Her genuine compliment was like sunshine. That one small moment of validation washed away his anxiety. His confidence returned. He wasn't just playing a role. He was a cafe owner, and he was proud. Slowly, day by day, word spread. There were still slow days and hard weeks that tested his spirit, but Leo never lost passion. He worked hard, learned customers' names, and made his cafe a true part of the neighborhood. He was building the community he had always dreamed of. A year later, the Cozy Corner was one of the most popular spots. It was always buzzing with students, friends, and neighbors. He had hired staff to help him manage the busy shop. He had successfully created the warm community space he dreamed of when he was in his old office. He had taken a huge risk, and it had paid off. But he realized the real success was in the journey itself. Even if it had failed, he would have learned about business, coffee, and himself. He learned that true security comes from building a life you love. Now, let's look at useful English words and phrases from Leo's story. Listen and repeat in your head. Each phrase will appear on screen with a simple definition and an example sentence. Let's explore 12 powerful phrases for talking about growth, change, and taking risks. Like Leo in our story, we all face moments that require bravery and new beginnings. These phrases will help you describe those experiences and build your English skills. First, risk. A choice with an uncertain result. Starting a new business is a risk. For Leo, moving to a new country was a huge risk. He didn't know if he would find friends or be successful, but he went anyway. Tip: when you hear the word risk, listen for what might happen, good or bad. Try using it in a sentence about your own life, like, I took a risk by joining a new club. To take a chance, doing something risky, hoping for a good result. For example, I decided to take a chance and apply for the job. Leo took a chance by starting a conversation with a stranger, hoping to make a friend. Courage. The ability to do something that scares you. It's acting despite fear. A student who asks a question in class has courage. Leo showed courage giving his first presentation in English, even though he was nervous. To face your fear. Confronting something that scares you. For example, I face my fear of speaking by practicing in class. Instead of staying home, Leo faced his fear of being lonely by joining a local club. Decision. A choice you make after thinking. Moving to another country was a big decision. Leo's decision to learn a new skill was a turning point. It was a choice that opened up new career possibilities. Opportunity. A chance to do something you want. A job offer is an opportunity. Leo saw his company's training program as a golden opportunity to improve his skills and advance his career. Step out of your comfort zone. Doing things you are uncomfortable with to grow. Traveling alone forced me to step out of my comfort zone. For Leo, every new conversation in English was a step out of his comfort zone, but each one made him stronger. Finally, to pay off. When hard work or a risk leads to a good result. I studied every day and my hard work paid off. All of Leo's courage paid off when he got a promotion and finally felt at home in his new city. To overcome. To succeed in dealing with a problem or difficulty. For example, she overcame her fear of public speaking. Leo overcame many challenges to open his cafe, to make progress, to move forward or improve. For example, I am making progress in my English every week. Remember, progress can be slow, but every step counts. To set a goal. to decide what you want to achieve. For example, my goal is to speak English confidently. Setting goals helps you stay motivated and focused, to try your best, to do as much as you can. For example, even if I make mistakes, I always try my best. This phrase reminds us that effort is important, not just results. To learn from mistakes, to use your errors as lessons. For example, I made a mistake, but I learned from it. Leo learned from every mistake he made while building his cafe, to keep going, to continue, even when it is hard. For example, when I feel tired, I remind myself to keep going. This phrase is useful when you want to encourage yourself or others. Now it's your turn. Try to use one phrase this week. Record your voice for 1 minute or answer a question in class. Practice makes these phrases part of your active vocabulary. They are common in everyday conversation and are powerful tools for sharing your own story. Make them part of your English. Tip: write down your favorite new phrase and use it in a real conversation. The more you use these words, the more natural they will feel. Remember, every small step is progress. Taking risks helps us grow, learn, and discover new opportunities. Every time you try something new in English, you are taking a small, brave step forward. Remember, progress comes from action, not from waiting for the perfect moment. You can practice English every day in simple ways. Try speaking with a friend, reading a short story, listening to a podcast, or writing a few sentences in your journal. Each small effort adds up over time. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are a natural part of learning. When you try, you learn. When you learn, you grow. Celebrate your small wins, like understanding a new word, finishing a story, or having a short conversation in English. Here are some small risks you can take in your English journey. Ask a question in class, join a language group, record your voice, or try speaking with someone new. Each risk helps you become more confident and comfortable. Remember, everyone learns at their own pace. Some days will feel easy, and some days will be hard. What matters is that you keep going. Be patient with yourself and trust the process. Your effort will pay off. When you feel nervous, remember, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Every time you speak, listen, or write in English, you are building your future. You are stronger and braver than you think. Thank you for listening to Listen and Speak English Stories podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with your friends. Your support helps us create more stories and lessons for learners like you. Keep listening, keep speaking, keep being brave. You are making progress every day. Believe in yourself and remember, your English journey is just beginning. You can do it.